Any other comments, issues, complaints? Yes, Chip?
I just, I disagree somewhat with the information that's been bantered around. I asked for more information as Mayor Pro Tem when this was brought to me, and I was told that I didn't need it, so.
Who told you that, Chip?
The sheriff, so.
Because I know Jeff put together folder after folder of information. I think we made sure you and Dee both had it.
Well, I think I definitely got a lot of information, but I drilled down and asked for specific information, and I was told I didn't need it. So at the time, when I'm requesting information that I need to make decisions and I'm not provided that information, I can't make that decision. So I think, and I appreciate Troy trying to get information and and the information that you're getting and the information that you're trying to get from Chief Buck is not exactly what's been provided over the last several years, correct?
Look, it's large volumes. I mean, everything's in there and it doesn't need to be in there. We need to track exactly times where both of us need to be there. So it's a large report, and to go through every single call, then I've got to figure out, okay, when are my officers working, you know, because their schedules seem to change a lot. So look, we just gotta, there's a starting point. This is a starting point, and we need to look through the windshield, not the mirror. If this county and city are ever going to flourish, and I would tell you, we're too small to be having these arguments. We are way too small to be having these arguments. We do better together, whether it's grants, whether it's influence with legislatures. You know, I come from the political world, and I can tell you, if we were united, we would have way more influence with people that we need to have influence with. Representatives, senators, you know, if we were on the same page. It's, tell you, if you're a Siamese twin and you stab the other one in the heart, you're probably going to feel a little pain. So we need to look forward.
Dwayne, I think you had something you want to say since you was with the Sheriff's Department at the time Chip's discussing.
Yes, sir. We made a report back whenever I was with the Sheriff's Office, and it automatically sends out to anyone that has requested the information. I think Commissioner Harris gets it. I know Councilmember Walker gets it. I'm not sure who else gets it with the city, but all they had to do is come to me or Alan One, and you would be put on that list, and it automatically sends that information every month.
All right.
So going forward, I would suggest that we have a joint session with the Sheriff's Department, a representative of the court, a council member, the mayor, myself. We just go over these numbers and start to try to dissect where we have overlap. And where we have overlap is an easy fix. It is. So
I think you had something else you want to say, Chip?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, you know, I remember going into your office and you gave me a giant binder of individual calls. That's great, but I asked for very specific information, and I haven't received it from any email. I haven't received it from anyone ever. I was again just told that I didn't need that information. Well, you know, I'm no longer Mayor Pro Tem, but when I was Mayor Pro Tem, I did want to see that information because I needed that information to get the analytics to see, you know, if what was being requested even made sense. So I also don't believe that there was ever been, to me personally, an actual formal request of what your needs or what your wants are. You just said, I have them. So what are they specifically? What are you guys looking for specifically? And this can come up in the meeting that the Administrator Hill is talking about.
I was going to try not to drag this on much longer, but since you brought that up, I believe it was last September, October, I thought we sent over, I know we sent over, it was like discussion, I thought it was a jumping off point, like request $500,000 to go toward EMS, fire, Sheriff's Department. And I figured that the city would come back, say, 100,000, 200, and then we'd work our way toward some kind of agreement to get us where we could be somewhere in 10 years from now. Because in 2022, I can speak for that. I can't speak for 2023 because I don't have those numbers. I apologize. I'm going to have to look in the rearview mirror for a minute. The county spent between $7 and $8 million on fire, EMS, and sheriff's department, okay? And the city residents, which are taxpayers of Somervell County, paid $1.265 million. So if you round that up to $2 million, take that off 7, drops it down to 5. So if the county only did 50% of the calls inside the city, and maybe that's exorbitant, I don't know, maybe it's 25%, 30%. That's the number I was trying to get to, and I've got documentation, Chip, I think you've seen it in my office from 2017, where I went over this with different mayors, different city administrators, different council members. I think I probably showed you those dates and times that I talked to different people. What I thought where we were headed is when we sent that over there in September, October, the 500,000, we were starting negotiating. And I think the mayor and I, we've had many discussions about this, where we have a starting point, then we see where we are in 10 years from now. Because as you well know, the state's got us clamped down on 3.5% on our tax base, what we do with it. It may go to 2.5% in 2025 and 2027. So we all had to be careful how we keep providing the services we provide for the city, the county, everybody as a whole. So there has been open door discussions and jumping off points, and we just never have got anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not trying to blame the city. I'm not trying to blame
I'm
the
just trying to wrap my arms around the logic here.
You bet.
You want us to do more, but you shouldn't give us the parks. For what reason? You want us to do more.
I never addressed the parks with you.
No, I'm not saying you.
I have not addressed that with you here today.
I'm talking.
I'm just discussing the first responders, fire, EMS, because Chip went down that path.
I guess my point is we got to start somewhere, so this would be a good place to start.
There you go.
Would be the fair
Just-
value exchange.
One more time, Chip.
All right, so I retired in May. So all these documents that you sent over to the city never came to me. I wasn't on city council at the time. But the 2.5 years I was on city council, and the 2.5 years I did serve, I never received all the specific information or the specific requests that you have since done since I've been gone.
Okay.
So I couldn't address it.
Fair.
Okay.
So here's how I would sum it up. And I mean, if you're associating value to everything, that's going to be a hard thing to do. Because I don't know if we have enough assets. You know what I mean? It's an expense. It would help your budget. I believe it makes sense, from an overall perspective, as far as addressing, hey, we need it for these festivals, for that. We'll put it in writing. So that's not a concern. If you want us to take on more responsibility, here's an opportunity to get something off your plate. Yes, you guys do more than most counties do. So guess what? If you want to change that, here's a good place to start. As far as the other things, yes, we can address those, and we should. So that conversation can be had, but that's a tough one when you start talking about EMS. You're talking about police. Well, sure, we can go through the numbers, we can address that, and I can show you where we're moving towards that day. EMS is a bigger challenge. EMS is a bigger challenge, but we can certainly look at that. Look, we do provide you a fluent for your golf course, and as somebody who's had a public golf course that didn't have a fluent, I can tell you we lost $200 grand a year on that golf course. The minute we started using a fluent on it, we started making $100,000. It cannot be ignored how much money that is saving the county if you had to pour drinking water all over that golf course. Keep it
That's
crisp.
been brought into the equation also.
So, it is a huge part of it, and let me tell you, it would be sucking your budget dry without it. And I don't say that.
Well, we don't want to talk about how I feel like sucked it dry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So, anyway, look, I'm just gonna sum up. It's a logical thing to do. If you're serious about really wanting the city to take on more things, it makes sense. The little issues about, other things, let's have those conversations. Let's sit down together and let's talk about coverage for EMS, coverage for police. That's a conversation I don't mind having. I don't think the mayor's ever shied away from it. So we can have that conversation. But I think this is a good starting point.
All right,
Thank you.
you bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Troy.